Hi, guys. Welcome to season one, episode one of the Cozy Reverie podcast. My name's Trisha, and we'll be talking about all things cozy from cozy games to books to seasonal hobbies and scents and activities, and just kind of bringing it all together for a cohesive, cozy atmosphere. I would also love it if you guys are listening on Spotify or YouTube or however, if you can comment a cozy activity, a cozy scent, a cozy game that you're playing. Let's make this a conversation and a community because what's more cozy than community, right? So, in today's episode, I'll be talking have a long list, you guys. I'll be talking about cozy games, things I've been making, fall scents since we're ending the summer, transitioning into fall. I just get so excited about fall scents and farmers markets, what I found today at the farmers market, music recommendations, and let's just dive right in, okay? So, I am sitting right now on my floor because I don't like chairs, guys. I don't know if it's a yoga teacher thing, but I find that sitting cross-legged on the floor is way more comfortable than sitting in a chair. I'm covered in a cozy cat blanket that was gifted to me by my friend Allison, and I am inhaling the scent from Swan Creek Candle Company, my favorite wax melt company. Everything they have is luxurious and anyway, the scent is amaretto caramel and it's a kind of I would say it's not as intense of a scent as some of the others that I've had from them, but everything they have fills the room with fragrance. And I love a good, strong fragrance. I love surrounding myself with seasonal fragrances. Another one that they have is honey soaked apples. Been using that one a lot lately. And another way to, fill your space with lovely seasonal scents is by making a simmer pot. That's one activity that is on my bucket list for the fall, making a fall simmer pot. Now, if you've never made a simmer pot before, it's really just a bunch of seasonal ingredients and you literally just pour some water in a pan and pour in the ingredients and let it simmer and let all the juices and oils extract and simmer out into the air. And it's this really natural way to get a really good fragrance going in your home. You can do it on a nice cozy Sunday, or you can do it any day. You can do it after work as you're relaxing, reading a nice book in a cozy nook. Just create an ambiance. And that's kind of the goal of this podcast is to encourage you to create that ambiance for yourself and give you some tools and ideas. So, that is one of my recommendations for the fall season, is making a fall simmer pot. If you don't want to get too crafty, there's also, like I recommended, the Swan Creek Candle Company. I love their wax melts. And I actually just found this local place at the farmer's market this morning called Crafty Shenanigans. And I haven't used them yet, but they smell so powerfully good. They have an apple, maple, and bourbon scent and an autumn cottage scent. Highly recommend those. I don't know if they have a website or anything, but shout out to Crafty Shenanigans. I'm so excited to use your wax melts. And then, of course, if you don't have access to anything outside of Bath and Body Works, they also, of course, have amazing scents too. And I just plugged in leaves in my bathroom from Bath and Body Works in a little diffuser. So, lots of options out there to make your home smell delicious for fall. And while we are smelling good in our homes, what better to do than play a cozy game? You guys, I downloaded Tiny Bookshop. First of all, I downloaded the demo, was addicted, and immediately bought it. I've got about 4 hours of playtime in the last few days, honestly, in the last week. And it's amazing. Like, it is truly a cozy game. When I think of a cozy game, it's not just the aesthetics, it's the entire vibe, how I feel. I feel relaxed. I don't get stressed out when I play that game. And that's exactly how I want a cozy game to feel. And if you don't know, Tiny Bookshop just released August 8th ish. 2025, and it's been on my wish list for probably a year. I've been really looking forward to this game. And so when it came out and I enjoyed it, I'm just like, I'm so ecstatic because you never know. I was kind of hesitant on buying it too. I thought maybe I won't like it. Maybe I was just excited about the concept, but no, it's actually a really good game. Essentially, you run this little mobile bookshop and it starts where you can carry up to 40 books, and you pick out the genres you're carrying and you travel to different locations in the city, and different locations are attracted to different topics. And you don't have to memorize all this because there's like a little journal that kind of like tells you and reminds you and gives you all of the information. So yeah, really stress-free game. It's so cute. And then sometimes your customers just pick out their own books. Sometimes you give them recommendations, and so you can like click through each book and get a summary of the book and see if that's kind of what they want. I'd say I would maybe a little over half the time I get it right, and then maybe a third of the time I just totally don't have a book for them, and so I recommend them something random, and then there's really nothing bad that happens. They just kind of get disappointed and walk away. Um, so yeah, Tiny Bookshop, I would recommend. I think it's on PC and Switch. If you have like me, I have both, and I kind of debate whether to get it on one or the other, and I would recommend it just on PC. Um, because it's very point and click, and you don't do any walking. It's all clicking. So that's just kind of my take on it, and that's what I got it on, and I've been playing it on PC and I love it. In general, I prefer Switch games, but I think for this one it just makes more sense to play on PC. So, yeah, Tiny Bookshop has been my latest cozy game. Let me know in the comments if you've been playing a cozy game, even if it's like not a video game, like a board game. I've been getting into board games too. I got into this game called Planted, where you collect plants and you get different points for different kinds of plants, and you have to, like, each plant requires a different amount of sunlight and fertilizer and all of that, and you compete to see who can grow the most plants. And then there's also, I found at a thrift store, a Bob Ross game, which is entirely too complicated. We tried and failed like 3 or 4 different times and had to restart this game, you guys. But it is a really fun game once you get the gist of it. You just create paintings and you try to beat Bob Ross. It's like the cutest little game. My point is, board games are also super cozy, if not more cozy than like a cozy video game, because then you're connecting with someone, you're playing with someone generally, and there's just like this whole organic element. Screens aren't necessarily involved, and it's such a nice little activity. I've always wanted to be a board game girl, and now we're starting to slowly build our collection of board games, and it's really satisfying. And you're always constantly like learning new games, which I love, learning new things and challenging myself that way. So that's also satisfying. And while we've been playing these board games, I've been getting really into some new music. I use Spotify. I don't know really much about I've had Apple Music briefly in the past, but like it's literally to listen to like one album that is only on Apple Music. I actually have a trial of Amazon Music right now that I'm not using. I need to cancel that. But anyway, my point is, however you want to find new music, how I've been finding it is literally just going on Pinterest. And I don't know how you would initially find this. I just kind of found like a screenshot of a playlist and then clicked on it, and then a bunch more screenshots of playlists came up. I have a whole Pinterest board called Music where I have all of these screenshotted playlists. One I've been listening to the most is called A Love Letter to the Mountains, and it's all like folk music, kind of campy, acoustic type music. There's also Fresh Folk, which is a Spotify playlist that refreshes, I think, every week. That one's been great. I found a lot of new artists on there. And then I recently went to Men I Trust in Kansas City, and I was mostly a fan of one of their albums, which they didn't play any songs of at the concert, which was kind of disappointing. But now I'm getting into like all of their music. I would say they're definitely a cozy band. I use their music to regulate my nervous system because they are so calm. Her voice, the singer's voice, is just so nice to listen to and gentle. I really recommend their album Ekis Asinus. That's the one that I truly like made me fall in love with the band. It just released earlier this year and I've listened to it so many times. I bought the record from their show, and that's also a cozy activity that I highly recommend if you want to invest in it. I would recommend probably getting a newer, like, functioning record player, but as far as collecting records, most of the records I collect are actually old from the 60s, and it's really fun to listen to. I mean, that's just my personal preference of genre. I love 60s folk music sang by women. It's a little specific, but there is so much old music that it just sounds really good played on a record player. There's this really organic, warm, nostalgic kind of sound that comes from it. And I highly recommend it. It can totally help build the atmosphere. One thing I have been doing lately is trying to make my own creamer, like a coffee creamer. And I don't know, it's hard. It's harder than I thought it would be. I found a bunch of Pinterest pins of different creamers, and first of all, I just need a new vanilla. I think it was either just old or low quality, and the vanilla, when I heated up, started tasting bitter, and I was trying to make a sweet creamer, and the best one I've made so far, I made a pistachio creamer, and it was actually pretty decent, but I am kind of sensitive to lactose, and it just depends. Like, I've been making it with almond milk, and then I'll put some heavy cream in there for like body, but it's just not entirely working out. So I've been playing around with that, but I think that's totally like, even like throughout the year, that's not necessarily a fall activity, but it's definitely a cozy activity, is making your own creamer at home. It's actually pretty easy to do. Um, I say that and I've been failing at every one. I think if you have the right ingredients though, because I've definitely made my own creamers before that didn't totally suck. I got some strawberry infused honey from the farmer's market today, and I'm gonna try to make a strawberry creamer with a splash of vanilla and then a splash of almond extract. And I found some barista blend almond milk and some barista blend walnut milk online because everything locally I found has like seed oils and gums and stuff in it. So I don't know. I just want to be careful about that. So, anyway, making your own coffee creamer. If you're a coffee person or if you're a tea person, you could always make your own tea blends. There is a local place here, and you don't even have to do it like through a company or whatever, but there's a local place that you can go and make your own tea blends, and they'll tell you kind of like what each ingredient does for you, and then you can whip up something herbal or just something really tasty. So, literally any season, cozy activities, making your own kind of beverage concoction. I want to leave you guys with that and keep it short and sweet today. Also, my battery's dying, which is totally not cozy. I'm probably gonna go play a little bit more Tiny Bookshop because it's my favorite thing in the world right now, and drink my coffee and wait for my barista walnut milk to come in the mail. So I will update you guys on coffee creamer recipes next episode. And again, thank you for listening. Leave a comment on what your favorite cozy activity is, and let's make it a conversation, okay? Bye.